Hi, Angel here. Thanks for stopping by. Today I'm going to review a book that I read called How We Eat with Our Eyes and Think with Our Stomach. It's written by Melanie Moule and Diane von Kopp. And I reviewed it on NetGalley, and I thought I would give you just a quick overview of it since I read it, and maybe you haven't, maybe you're curious what it's about. I gave it a 4 out of 5 stars. I think it's a good read. I found it valuable and thought-provoking. It was a fairly quick read. And here are the top 3 things. Maybe it's just 2 things, really, that I got main key points that I took away from this book. And number 1, this book uses psychology and biology and neuroscience to talk about how there's other factors that are influencing our appetite other than just the food itself. It's not just the taste, not just any one aspect, in fact, so many aspects. And it was a very thought-provoking read. It was actually, I think it was probably published overseas and then rewritten in English, so it kind of had a little bit of a non-American flavor, which I appreciated, although at times kind of sent me on a weird little brain loop, as does when cultures collide or clash. So anyway, and that was part of the point of the book, was that culture is just one of many things that actually influences how we perceive our food and what we want to eat, how we perceive what we eat. So number 1 point was that much of our eating experience is subconscious. That basically so much of what we're experiencing while we're eating or while we're getting hungry to eat is totally not in our conscious mind. So there's a whole lot going on there that's subconscious, and that includes a lot to do with our culture, our beliefs, our upbringing, and then there's our senses. So that was really the number 2 main point that I got out of it, was that all of our senses and our culture and our beliefs are all playing into how we perceive our food. And then there's a whole lot of new research out there about the gut biome and how our gut is actually part of our mind. And so the other part of that title, How We Think with Our Stomach, is kind of the flip side of the whole equation. So not only is there all this other information going into how we perceive our food, whether we think it's tasty, whether we think it's nutritious, whether we think it's, we should or shouldn't eat it, whether we think it's comforting or exciting, all those little nuances to how we perceive our food have to do not just with the flavors, sweet, salty, bitter, sour, I think there's one more, savory, spicy. I don't know if that's considered its own flavor, but it should be, I think. In any case, it's not just those flavors, but it's also this whole myriad of other senses that are going into that. So how it smells, there's a whole lot of complexities to that, and we smell differently. Like when you have a cold, it's going to influence how things taste. And then also how it looks. The author talks a lot about the colors of food, and especially the color of food in contrast to what it's served on, from the tablecloth to the plate. There's a whole lot to think about that influences how you perceive a food, how you perceive how hungry you are, how you perceive how tasty it is, how much it should cost, all those things, and how nutritious it is. All those things are heavily influenced by color, by the sound, by music that's going on, by the environment it's presented to you in, by what mood you're in when you are presented with it, and by your cultural beliefs and underlying experiences that have a ton to do with how you're gonna perceive the food, how you're gonna think about it. So I thought it was a 4 out of 5 stars book. It was a very thought-provoking read. If you're at all interested in either one, your eating habits, kind of different diets, and all, if you're a person like so many of us who've experimented with all kinds of different eating habits, patterns, aka diets in your life, you might find this read really beneficial to help you kind of put a different spin, put it in a different perspective of a little more flexible, because you can see how relative your perception of food and its healthiness and its effect on you has so much to do with your beliefs, your experiences, your culture, and how it's presented, all your other senses. So becoming aware of that really helped me feel better about food in general, and pay a little more attention to how I present it to myself and others, and appreciate a little more when people take a lot of time to present food in a particular way, both with the ambiance of music and scent and lighting and company, even how you sit, male to female. All those things can have a big influence on how you enjoy your food, how you perceive your food. So How We Eat with Our Eyes and Think with Our Stomach by Melanie Moule and Diane Von Kopp is a 4 out of 5 read by my review. I enjoyed it. I recommend it. I hope that helps. Let me know if you've read it. What do you think about it? What did you get out of it? And until next time, peace, prosperity, and possibilities.